Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we got 7 Honda EU 3000s I picked up from a guy. I paid $1,300 for all these, so we're gonna see if we can get them running. I got them all labeled so we can kind of see which ones are which, and I already kind of started tinkering a little bit. So far I figured out number 5 does start and run. It smokes. Go ahead and give that one a crank. I didn't let it choke long enough, but as you can see, it starts and runs. All these have a really weird, whenever you pull the rope, it's just not very smooth. It makes a noise. This one does it too, and it runs, so I don't think it's anything major, but you can hear it. I think there's just something inside, maybe the starter housing, that's causing this. This one did start and run on starting fluid. We'll go ahead and give it another shot real quick, and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna go through all these, just try to spray them with starting fluid and see what they need. Number 7 is the worst one of all of them. It's pretty rough. It's missing the pull cord. Looks like the air box is off of it. So I don't know what's going on with this one, but we'll figure it all out. These are all used as oil field equipment for an inspection company. It seems like they were actually pretty well maintained, but they just get wore out. So we'll go ahead and break into them and see. Some of them do have tags on them. So this one just says repaired. It doesn't say what was repaired, but we'll get to the bottom of it. This one did say repaired, but smoking. This one we got just says won't start. That's the only one that has tags on it. It looks like all the rest of them got torn off. So let me get a camera set up here. We'll get rolling. Sorry for the background noise, that's my barn. But right now we're in the middle of a freeze, so it's a little cold for being in Texas. But I guess it's nothing compared to what's up north. Anyways, let's go ahead and give it a shot here. You can hear how bad the starting the pull rope sounds. It's very strange. Sorry about that. It is smoking just a hair, but it might be because the choke is on. Kind of looks like it might have cleared up once the choke's off. Like I said, I did check the oil. Let's go ahead and find something to plug into it. We'll test the power. What do y'all think? Maybe, I think a grinder's a good tool. Has plenty of draw on it. Let's check it out. Seems like it's running decent. You can tell that the low speed jet's probably a little clogged up. It probably needs some fresh gas. You can see it is empty. All these tanks look pretty good. Actually, I was impressed. I was worried they were going to be rusty, but they all look pretty good aside from the one that's open. It has a little slight bit of rust in it, but not bad. Okay. So you can kind of hear that noise again. I guess that's really the only issue I need to try to figure out with it. So I guess we'll come back to it. Let's go ahead and move on to number 2 here. Number 2 looks like it has gas in it. Yes, it does. I don't think these generators are really that old. I don't think they're older than 10 years old. But let's try this. Go ahead and open it up and take a look at it. It is a little nasty in here, but not too bad. We'll go ahead and choke it, turn the gas on. Eco throttle is off. Let's see what happens here. Let me check the oil in it real quick. The oil looks pretty fresh actually. So it sounded like it wasn't idling up. The eco throttle was off, but you could hear how quiet it still was. So let's try it again here. On this one, the idle motor back in here is probably hung up, so we'll have to take the carburetor off and look at it. But it did start and run, so that's good. Next we'll move on to number 3. All right, on to number 3. So I checked the oil, has gas in it. It's on, choke's on. See, I don't know what that sound could be. I never heard of that on these Hondas, but we'll have to figure it out. Let's go ahead and give her a little squirt of brake cleaner. See how it starts with that, if it starts. So far, it looks like 1 and 2 are both going to need a little bit of carb work, which is to be expected. I think it's number 3. This one's my favorite one out of all these. I'm going to keep this one if it ends up being good. This seems like it's in pretty good shape and everything. And I keep getting these air boxes. I always struggle to get these air boxes out of here for some reason. Alright, let's see what that does now. Hard to tell if this one has compression or not. It almost seems like it might not. The carburetor is definitely very wet. Looks like it has a good leak going on. Let's try it one more time here. So yeah, I definitely got something else going on with this one. I'm gonna guess it's probably compression related. So I'll have to come back to this one, unfortunately. Okay. We'll go ahead and just leave this airbox cover off and all that. Let's move on to number 4. Let's go ahead and give y'all a little turn like that. Slide number 2 up out of the way. Got way too many machines over here. So let's check the oil. Looks like it has no oil in it. I'm gonna grab some oil and I'll put that in there real quick and we'll go ahead and fire it up. Alright. I got us some Mobil 1 here. Just leftover oil from my truck, so it's hard to tell how low it is. I don't really see any. Kind of looks like maybe the engine mounts are a little loose. But that might just be how these Hondas are, I'm not sure. I haven't really messed with the 3000s a whole lot, to be honest with y'all. Almost spilt it. Alright, I guess it wasn't as low as I thought. Maybe just a couple ounces, if I had to guess. Sounds good. Get all this out of it. Alright, let's give this one a shot. Key is on, choke is on, eco throttle. The switch seems a little screwed up. So it seems like it just needs maybe some carb work. That won't be too bad, I don't think. So, got carb work, and these both have the pull start issue. That one has the pull start issue really bad, and it won't fire. I'm guessing spark or low compression, unless whatever is hanging up in there is maybe keeping it from firing. That one we already fired up. So let's move on to number 6 here. Looks like we don't have no gas in this one. Got a little bit. The tank looks doesn't look rusty, but it does look a little dirty inside there. So, and the gas smells terrible. This one does have an aftermarket hour meter on it, which is interesting. So let's see, I'll give it a pull. Let's try. Oh man, it's trying, but it just won't quite do it. Yeah, I think this one, I can smell the gas is really bad. I think we're just gonna clean the carb on this one and we'll see what it does. So this one's a little bit of a basket case, it looks like. I didn't even realize we have some parts in here. We got a head gasket, looks like. Let's go ahead and take the side cover off. We'll take a quick peek. Oh yeah, so this one's disassembled. This one's gonna be a good parts machine, it looks like, for us. So now we can kind of see what this pull start system looks like. We got a carb in here, that might be good. Yeah, I think this one's gonna be a good parts machine. I think it's been messed with and stuff. The tank's a little rusty, as you can see, has spider webs. We'll make this one our parts machine. So I guess let's go ahead and we'll get started. I might make this into 2 separate videos on working on them. But let me go ahead and get one set up and I'll get wrenching on it. Go ahead and get the Kubota going here so I can lift these things on my workbench. Heater doesn't work good when it's not warmed up, so let's go ahead and leave that off. Popped open. Get the air box. Turn this on for y'all. There we go, that's better. Yeah, so this is a really bad design on this air box. There we go. Got that over there. This over there. Oh, you can actually see all the dirt inside there. It's no good. So it looks like we have 3 10mm. This would be a good job for the electric ratchet. I always get one of these little, get this drill out of the way. I'm sorry about that. So I always use these little bowls here whenever I'm working on stuff and tearing it apart. It makes it a lot easier to get stuff back together. It sucks when you lose stuff when you're trying to work on stuff. Gonna get a new ratchet here pretty soon. This one's losing its losing its action here. Might be about time to upgrade this. This one's been pretty good. Just have to do it by hand. It's okay. It's pretty nasty in here too. I probably need to clean it up before I sell it, of course. Let me just get the impact here. I'll zip that one down. There we go. Oh, I dropped it. I'll have to grab that. Breather hose here. Get that out there. And this one. There we go. Actually, I guess I can leave this little hose in there. It's not gonna really hurt anything. Go ahead and slide the choke off here. Big old choke bracket. There we go. That just has a little hole that it slides into. You can see it right here. You can barely see it. I'll show you here in a minute. And watch all these hoses here, they're kind of brittle. That one's about to break, but not a whole lot I can do. There we go. Take both of these off and set them to the side. And we got our electrical connector here, so we'll just go ahead and pop that off. Looks like someone's already been in here. You can grab a screwdriver too here. I need a pliers to take the fuel line off, and I need one to pinch the fuel line so that it doesn't leak gas everywhere. Oh, actually I forgot the valves. Just turned off. Hello. There we go. That should be good. Pop that fuel line. Perfect. Now we got our carb assembly right here. And we'll go ahead and get this torn down. So, actually I need to, first things first, I need to get the ultrasonic cleaner heating up. So we'll go ahead and go do that. And actually, I wanted to look inside so you can actually see. You can see inside here on the blower housing. Maybe see what's making all that noise. It's hard to tell. Probably have to take it apart to really see. But I think I'm gonna take a look at that, maybe off camera while I'm cleaning the carb and the ultrasonic. So I'm gonna get y'all positioned here and we'll dive into this carb. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing disassembled here. Let me get a bowl. I'm not sure what that was, but anyways, we got a bowl here. And let's go ahead and get this off, this motor. So it's probably best to use the impact on these actually, because you don't want to strip them. They strip real easy. There we go. There's one and two. So now whenever you take this apart, there is a little spring. See this little spring? It might try to pop out, so be careful when you pop this off. That spring might try to go flying with it. Okay, we got that off, and here's the spring right here. So just goes in there just like that. Anyways, here's the carburetor. So now this is just a regular old Honda carburetor. So you can see someone's been in here before. But let's go ahead and put this back on. Sorry, this autofocus is just not working good on this thing today, is it? Anyways, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and take this top part off with this top jet. Just need our flat head. It technically has a Phillips head on it, but flathead works just fine because it has such a wide opening on it. I'm just gonna put all this right here, and so this is the one of the jets here. We'll set that right in there, and then we'll go ahead and pop the bowl off. The outside of this carpet is pretty good, actually. Not bad. Let's see what the jet bolt looks pretty good there. Pretty clean, actually. I probably won't even put this in the ultrasonic for very long. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Gas is probably not the best, but it's okay. Let me go ahead and grab a screwdriver to get that. No, this carburetor looks surprisingly good. I'm pretty impressed, actually. Oh, that's too big. Is this one going to be too big also? Dang, let me try a different one. There we go. Well, that wasn't very tight at all. Get the motion tube out of there. So just poke it down, or just poking that little brass thing down in there. It's called the motion tube. There it is right there. So you just want to make sure all these openings are good and open, which might be hard to see. It's hard to tell on camera, but it is open. The jet here, jet looks pretty good too. If I had to guess, we probably have a passageway blocked in the carburetor itself. I'm gonna try to get this seal out of here, but it's a little risky to do it. Actually, I think I'm just gonna leave it in there. I think I'm just gonna throw this in there for 10-15 minutes. Make sure we got everything cleared out. There's a little filter in here too. Always forget that they have them. But if you're having issues with fuel, that could be a possibility. I'm gonna leave it in there though. I'm gonna go ahead and poke this out. Oops, lost it. I'm gonna poke it out with a wire brush real quick. I'm not a big fan of this brush I got, but it's the only one I got at the moment. So I just poke it right up in there through the bottom. This brush is almost a little too big for it. See if I got it. I think that's all I got, unfortunately. I do have this little set here designed for carburetors, but I don't think it has one fine enough to go in there. No. What I'll do is I'll just make sure I can see light. I'll shine light in through the side of this and make sure I can see light down the center. But let me go ahead and get the ultrasonic set up and we'll drop this in there. All right, we got the carburetor all set up and we'll lower it down in there. These little hooks like to get caught up on the sides. And we'll go ahead and power it on. We'll just do 13 minutes. You kind of see it already working, so. For those wondering, I just have Arbor Freight degreaser in here mixed with water. So I'll put this lid on and we'll let it do its magic. Alright, so I got this all torn apart. So I figured out the sound is coming from this pull starter assembly. Oh, 1 second, I found this bolt that I was looking for earlier. I do need to find another thing that fell off. Anyways, so it's coming from this. So basically there's this starter here. You can see where it was kind of rubbing on there too. But so there's this peg here, and this gear goes in there, and that runs the recoil starter. But then this piece right here goes on for the electric start, and it has little teeth that run out too. So what I'm thinking is happening here, I think this plastic is wore out. I'm gonna try to lubricate it and the best I can and see what happens, but I'm pretty sure that plastic is just starting to wear out and it's starting to get some wobble in it. That's all that's going on here. Maybe I can weld a little bit on here to get it tight in there. I don't know, let me try to lubricate it and I'll put it back together and see. The carburetor's ready, but I need to get this all back together first. So let me take care of this. And I'll make a good YouTube video on this too to help people take this all apart. That's pretty simple, it just takes a little while. So there's actually, I think it's hitting on the starter bolt here. So I took that starter bolt out. I'm gonna put it back together and see if it makes a difference. All right, got all of our stuff not reassembled, but cleaned out. And it's all ready to be put back together. I blew it all off with the air compressor. Some of this dirt. I blew it all out with the air compressor and with carb clean. So we should be set to go on reassembling this. So I'll go ahead and throw the motion tube back in there, and we'll go ahead and push it down with the screwdriver. There it is, fell on the ground. I'll push it in there with the screwdriver, make sure it's all seated. Next we'll put the main jet. And then all these Honda carbs are pretty similar, so I mean this isn't really a specific carburetor for this. I mean it's pretty general with all Hondas or Honda clones. Just snug it up a little bit. Next we'll go ahead and put the seat or needle and the float in, and we need our little pin here. Get it well pretty much centered up. And next we'll go ahead and put the float bowl on, and we'll make sure it's positioned to where the drain is facing out toward the outside, because if not then you'll have trouble getting to it. And I'll just go ahead and snug it up here. That's all you need. And here we go. Go ahead and put this jet back in. Okay, well that's not wanting to go. Let me turn it around. It's usually, these can go in either way, but sometimes they'll slide in better one way compared to the other. See that flat side there has to line up. Still don't think it's in there all the way. Not sure what the deal is. Come on. Junk. I never had one give me this much trouble. It's very weird. Get a Phillips head here. kind of put some pressure down. Okay, let me try some WD-40 then, and we'll see if that helps. Just a little bit, not much. There we go. You hear that nice snap? That was it. Well, I got grease all over our nice clean carburetor now. But anyways. Alright, so that's that. Let's get our idle set screw in. Just kind of eyeball it. Probably have to reset this anyways. I usually like going about right there. That's a good starting point. Okay, next we got to get our little spring assembly here. And that'll just pop right in there. Just like that. There we go. And now we'll put our motor on. Oh, which way? There we go. Just like. All right, so I got the peg on from the idle motor in there. Just snug it up a little bit. Doesn't need much. I really do find that using the Phillips on the, or impact from Phillips heads is really helps keep from stripping them, but people might not agree with that, but that's kind of what I found. So that's our carburetor, and we'll go ahead and slap it back on. So something I noticed whenever I was working on it earlier is, look, they actually got all the gaskets set up on the very back of this. That is not correct. That probably is causing a vacuum leak if I had to take a guess. So let's pull all these off. I'll set that aside, and I'll go ahead and get the carburetor put back in. So let me see if I can get y'all a good zoom here. So our choke is gonna go on here in a minute. Well, is that even the correct gasket? I can't tell. This gasket's all nasty. I need to see if we have a better one. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this gasket. Let me go see if I can find another one. Alright, I actually got really lucky because our parts Honda generator had a brand new Louis gasket in it, so that's pretty cool. And it does look like the old one, as you can see, so we are good to go. I believe it went like this. You gotta be careful when you slide these on here not to, just like that. And I'll go ahead and slip this on here. Actually, let's go ahead and plug it in first. This one is missing the cap for the top of the motor here on the starter, or on the idle set, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and get the fuel line hooked up too. It might get a little difficult once it's. There we go. Just like that. Sorry, I know this is hard to see in here, but it's kind of a tight area. Not really a good way to video it. Okay. Oh, oops. next gasket. That's going around there. Let me disconnect this. I think whoever had this before just didn't know what they were doing. This is all routed in a bad way. I'm not a fan. Oh man. There we go. Like I said, I'm sorry it's kind of hard to see all this going on, but it's just a tight area. So there we go. Yeah, I need to keep the peg on the carburetor as well. Slide this back out just a little bit. There we go. You know, we're getting something there. I'm just gonna hold this tight. Okay, the choke is operating, so that's good. And next, we'll throw that gasket on there for the air box. Oops, sorry about that. Straighten it out here. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and run this bottom hose through here. Top breather hose on. And let's get this air box in here. In position if we can. Kind of a hard air box to deal with, but alright. Go ahead and get the bolts and nuts started here. I'll go ahead and finish this up off camera actually. I might try to clean this out a little bit, so let me do this and I'll get it. Alright, I got it running. Turns out I just needed a little gas, so seems to be running good. It's idling and running smooth. It does have a little valve tick. I think I need to adjust the valves on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera and then I'll give it an oil change. But I think as far as number one goes, I think we're gonna call it good on this one. Number one's complete. We'll see which one we'll work on next. Let me turn off my fuel siphon. But yeah, we'll see which one we do next. I guess we'll just move on to number two. Like we said, this one needed carburetor work, I believe, so we'll give that one a shot too. So here's generator number one, all cleaned up and waxed. Not perfect, but definitely be a good unit for someone. So still got 6 more to go through, so keep an eye out for the videos, and I'll try to keep them rolling out as best I can. Thank y'all for watching, and have a good one.